Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. We're taking a close look at the Configuration Reader class.
Sounds pretty technical, right?
Yeah, it might sound a little dry,
Yeah.
but bear with us because this thing is like a secret weapon for making your automation work like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
Think of it like this if you're building an automation framework. Think of the Configuration Reader class like your helpful librarian.
Okay, I like that.
It knows where all the important information is stored and can fetch it for you in a snap.
So no more running around searching for the right settings or trying to remember where you put that crucial piece of data.
Nope. So let's break down how this little gem actually works, and more importantly, how it can make your automation life so much easier.
Sounds good.
First off, one of the things that makes this class so reliable is that it uses something called a logger.
Oh, yeah, the logger.
And what that does is it keeps a record of everything that's going on, kind of like a digital notepad. So if anything goes wrong, let's say a file is missing or there's an error in your settings, the logger will write it all down.
Yeah, like a detective. It helps you track down and fix any issues quickly.
Exactly. So you're not left scratching your head wondering what went wrong.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about where the Configuration Reader class actually stores all these
Oh,
settings.
right.
And for that, it uses something called a properties object, which is basically a special kind of dictionary.
You can think of it as a list of key value pairs. Each key is like a label for a specific setting.
So give me an example.
Like if you need to store the URL of a website, you might use a key called website URL. And then the corresponding value would be the actual address, like www.google.com.
Got it.
And what's really neat is that when the Configuration Reader class is loaded up, it automatically knows to look for a file called configuration.properties.
And that file is where all these key value pairs live, right?
Exactly. It acts as the central hub for all your configuration settings. But what happens if that configuration file is missing, or there's some kind of problem reading it?
Well, that's where our trusty logger comes in, right?
Absolutely. The logger will record the error and give you a heads up so you can fix it.
So it's like a safety net that makes sure things don't just crash and burn if something goes wrong.
It's all about making the configuration reader as robust and reliable as possible.
Okay, so we've stored all these settings in our properties file. How do we actually access them when we need them?
Well, that's where the getProperty method comes in.
Okay,
It's a simple but powerful tool.
so how does that work?
All your script has to do is provide the right key, the label, for the setting it needs.
So going back to our website example, to get the website address, the script would just call something like getProperty website URL.
Exactly. And the configuration reader would then look up that key in the properties file, find the corresponding value, and hand it back to the script.
So essentially, this class keeps all the settings separate from the main code, which makes things way more organized and manageable, especially when you're working on big automation projects.
You got it.
But how does that actually help people who are building automation?
Well, let's say you have a team of people working on an automation project. The configuration reader makes collaboration so much smoother because everyone knows where to find and update settings. You don't have to dig through lines of code to find what you need.
And it prevents conflicts too, right?
Exactly, because you're not all trying to change settings in different parts of the code,
And let's say down the line you need to change one of the settings.
like the website URL or a file path.
Right. You don't have to go hunting for every single place that setting is used in your code.
You just update it once in the configuration.properties file, and bam, it's reflected everywhere.
That saves so much time and headaches.
Especially as your automation project grows and gets more complex.
It's like having a central control panel for your entire automation system. So to wrap this up, what would you say is the biggest takeaway for our listeners today?
I'd say the beauty of the configuration reader class lies in its simplicity. It's this unassuming little tool that can dramatically improve the way you build and manage automation. It keeps your code clean, organized, and adaptable.
And it prevents a lot of potential problems down the road.
For sure.
So if you're looking for a way to streamline your automation efforts, the Configuration Reader class is definitely worth checking out.